I've been running Facebook now, Meta ads, since it was possible, and I ran literally thousands of ads. And in this video, I'm going to share with you what's working every single time. Before we jump in, a quick proof stack. My name is Evelyn Weiss. I've built my online business to over 8 million in revenue, over 34,000 paid subscribers, over 62,000 customers, and I have helped my clients to spend ads budgets as little as $5 a day and as high as over $500,000 per month effectively. In this video, I am going to show you the type of ad and also my exact ads that I'm running first every single time and that are working every single time, okay? And so dive right in with me and I'm going to show you how that's even possible. Before that, this video will be particularly relevant for you if you are a personal brand. You're a coach, a course creator, a membership owner, Skool community owner, you're a founder-led brand that maybe even has an e-commerce. But even if you're not in this space, this video I think is still helpful. But if you're in this space, you need to especially pay attention, okay? All right, so how can I even make the claim that there is something that works every time, right? That sounds crazy. So we first have to say, what is this ad and what exactly is working? So the first type of ad that I'm running for every single one of my new offers, business ventures, partnerships, clients, always is this type of ad. It is called the offer ad, or here's what you get ad, or this is exactly what it is ad. Okay, and this will make a ton of sense when I walk you through the exact ads. But basically, in a nutshell, what we're trying to do is we are trying to just showcase the product, the offer, what it is, visually as well as verbally, as clean and simple and close to the thing that it is as possible. Right? So there is no fancy angles, there is no beautiful editing, there's nothing, but this is the freaking thing. And the reason why we run this as the first ad and why it works every single time is because it does give you a definite answer, and that says either your patient, aka offer, is dead, flatline, or your patient, aka offer, has a heartbeat, which is when we're going to increase the efficiency and economics of our ads and funnel to understand the full potential of our offer, right? So this is the first thing I do whenever I come in, whenever I'm doing something for myself. I want to see, does it even make sense to run ads here? Is the offer, is the product right? Without that, the fanciest copywriting, editing, lifestyleiest ads, they can always only go so far. So they will either not work at all, or we're building our whole house basically on sand, right? So that's why we always run this is the offer ad first. And I want to be clear with you. I have scaled my own ad account to this is the offer ad, to over $1,000 a day, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 ad spent with just ads that are this is the offer, right? No fancy anything else around. And depending on the strength of the offer, you can take things a lot further, but this is where you should start, right? So as basic as possible. So you need to make sure that you have chosen the right campaign setup, right? And depending on your funnel, this very likely will be a sales campaign. I always recommend Advantage Plus. Keep the targeting as open, just open, as broad as possible. Just open Advantage Plus campaign, optimizing for purchase. If you're selling something right then and there, like a mini offer, a membership, a paid call, your actual e-commerce physical product, right? So then it's a sales campaign, Advantage Plus, optimizing for purchase, that has to be there. If you're running a traffic campaign, you're getting traffic, you're not getting sales, okay? And then this kind of whole diagnostic tool, which this ad really is, falls flat. This ad is an offer diagnostic tool. That's what you need to understand, right? So you need to write campaign objective. Maybe you also have a call funnel. Then you need to optimize for having those calls booked. I recommend working with the custom conversion of Calendly, which is invite meeting scheduled, right? But that already goes too much into details. What you need to know here and check is, did I select the right campaign objective? Did I optimize for the conversion that I'm ultimately after? If the answer is yes, and your "this is the thing" ad, which I'm going to show you in a second, falls flat, you have a dead patient, as in the offer and the product, okay? And so sometimes you could also be the product, which is also what we're going to talk about, right? So when you're selling sessions with you, so then we need to take a little bit of a closer look. We're going to discuss this when I walk you through the actual ads. But let's say your patient, right, your ad has a heartbeat. This does not mean that the ad is profitable right away, right? It just means you did see or multiple conversions. Ideally, what we want to see is conversions consistently. So we will test this with a budget of 1 to 2 times either the price of the offer or the target cost per acquisition, right? So how much am I allowed, willing, able to spend on acquire a customer because of the customer lifetime value that I either know or estimate based on my business plan, okay? So that's the daily budget, and ideally when we launch this ad, within the first 48 hours, we see a conversion, we see a sale, and then we see it coming in at least once a day. Then we know the thing is alive, right? It's worth investing into it. If you don't get this signal here, back to the drawing board, back to the offer, back to the product. You should not spend more money on ads at this point in time, in my personal humble opinion, okay? So, patient has a heartbeat. We are spending 2 to 3 times as much as it costs, or our desired target cost per acquisition, and we do get sales consistently. Well, now from here, our job is to increase the efficiency of our ads, which means we want to make sure that we're getting our CTRs and ad quality up, so our CPM can go down, so we can afford more clicks for the same spend. And we want to also optimize our funnel, so our conversion rate increases, and we want to add average order value to the funnel with complementary offers, like, for example, order bumps and one-click upsells. So we're optimizing the effectiveness of the ad as well as the economics of the funnel to not only have that heartbeat, but have that heartbeat so affordably that we can increase the budget, and now we can actually scale an ad account, and we can go into all kinds of offer ad angles, ad formats, increasing the production quality, add more different visuals. But none of that, I believe, is necessary or even recommended to test if you don't get a heartbeat, right? So first add as closely as possible to the offer. Now, what does that look like in practice? I have 2 types of ads, and I really think of my ads as product pictures, product images. It's probably my e-commerce background, right? But it's like product picture or product video. That's it. And because I find it hard to produce stuff, right? I don't have a big creative team for my own business. I do have a beautiful business partner. She's a graphic designer. But when I started, I didn't have that, right? So I needed to be a little bit scrappier. And I'm teaching a lot of people that don't have access to a beautiful, very talented business partner, or work with companies that have media teams or UGC creators or agencies, right? So I always try to find methods to make this first validation mechanism as doable as possible. And so when we're looking now at the type product picture, there's 2 main formats that I do. And so the first one is if you are still very much the product. Okay, so I just quickly kind of want to handle this. So if you're not working with, a free community funnel from where you upsell, or a lead magnet from where you upsell, or a masterclass, workshop, challenge funnel from where you upsell, or a mini offer in the front end, like a self-liquidating offer funnel. If you're not productizing like that in your ad, or if your offer in itself is not like a paid, like a physical product, I also have, for example, planners. Could have put that on here as well. In a planner, it's just a picture of the actual thing. So let me just see if I can find this here. Okay, so I've just been able to find it and add it here, right? So if it's a physical product, this, for example, was my winning ads for my physical product for my planner and self-management worksheet bundle. So here you can see this is an example when it's a physical product. So when you're not having a physical product, right, or a productizable digital product or community, I'm going to show you this in a second, then as a coach, very often you are the product. So what are you showing? You, right? That makes sense. So this is an example when I will share some sort of digital product, and I try to productize everything as much as possible because I had this learning, right, from e-commerce. So this is what a productized community looks like. I love to use Mockup ads for that, right? So this is just mocking up. You can see what's in the community logo, some worksheets from there. There's a course in there, there's community in there are updates in there, right? So this is a mock-up style product image. This is a physical product image. This is, because I am the coach and you are buying time with me, right, a product image. And so before I go into these that are maybe like easier to understand how they're product images, I want to show you this example. So this is for my mastermind. I'll take as the visual for the ad the actual product, which is me, right? And I have chosen this picture extremely deliberately. So with my mastermind, I did not want to create, I didn't want to be put in front of a Ferrari. I didn't want to give like any material success kind of indicators from the visual itself, because that's not what I value and that's not the type of person I want to attract, right? So you can see the example of this ad here. And this was basically just leading to a video sales letter funnel, right? So it was just saying, hey, apply for a free session. Then it goes to my Skool community about page. And here people can see the video from the last in person. They can see basically what's inside. And then they have an application form here. They fill in the application form, and if they're a good fit, they get this free one-to-one actual, like, we're mapping out your next step session. It's not a sales call. And after that, if they are a great fit, we'll have a follow-up call and they can ask all their questions about the mastermind, and I can decide if I want to invite them to join or not, right? So this is the how you want to do it. If you have any sort of one-to-one coaching funnel, right? Or can also be a coaching package, can also be a mastermind. When you have nothing to show as the product but yourself, show yourself, but also think about like, how do I want to be perceived, right? What's my brand in this regard? And I'm all about personal growth, being grounded, being humble in your growth. I'm all about transformation. The butterflies have been something that's been with me for a while. I'm all about the leaves and the flowers, right? So this picture just represents who I am as their mastermind leader, right? And so that's why I led with this image. Now, when you have a physical product, I think it's relatively easy to make a great product picture, and you don't need to have fancy photography for it. I know there's tons of solutions now with AI as well. For me, and I have a background in jewelry, very often these iPhone pictures, the thing in the actual environment, emotionally charged. Entrepreneurs charge things emotionally with a coffee. We are just like that, right? So these things tend to work best for me. And you want to see, like, there's subtle clues in here, like here's the Skool cat, right? So it gives certain hints, or here's also my tree with the growth again. But it's more about like the overall emotion, like what's the overall emotion and tonality that I want to convey. So for physical products, you can keep it super simple like this. This was really just a picture I took on my phone, and it turned out to be our winning ad. Or, you can go down, have a professional photography, or go down the route where you're working with AI to visually enhance your actual product image. And then when we're not selling ourselves or an actual physical product, the next best thing to showcase what you're getting is to make mockups, right? And I have tons of mockup templates for my members because of that, because usually this is the first ad that we're starting with, right? And people always ask me, aren't video ads performing better? Aren't they more effective? And I'm like, yes, of course, video ads in general tend to perform better and they're more scalable. But at this point where you are right now, you don't have a scalability problem. And you also still really very much suck at video, most of the people, right? Which they will gladly admit, because they will be like, I'm dying and I'm procrastinating just by the pure thought of appearing on video, right? So I'm like, why not start with an image ad that you can paint by numbers, fill in the blank, drag into the actual mockup ad, a screenshot of what you already created, and just validate your offer first before you're even concerned about making video ads, right? So this is where I think most people should start with their first ad. And even if you have the means, I still recommend starting with this type of ad because it's very low cost and extremely quickly to make. And if you can get sales from those, which again, like very often, those are also turning out to be really, really scalable, why not take that on your plate, right? So why not take that daily spend and put it in your basket and be like, check, X amount of daily spend, just purely generated with these ads that were so easy to make. So start here, and even if you feel like, oh, I have all the means, still start here because you want to do it as low risk, which means as low cost and quickly as possible. So start with a mock-up ad. You can mock up everything. A tangible strategic lead magnet, like a checklist, template, cheat sheet, whatnot. A free community that can later lead into your offers. A paid community, a self-liquidating mini offer that's like, a course and some items. I'm going to show you some examples. What else? Your course in general, right? So think about what's that offer, what's that front-end offer, mock it up. That's your product image right there. So basically, my main formats are the actual product image, which is like when you don't have a physical product, your actual product image is the mock-up, or the image of yourself, the lifestyle image, if you are the founder of the company and it's a founder-led brand, right? So this founder story will also work for an e-commerce business owner. So in this case, it would not be this picture of me, it would be this picture of me with the product, right? So it also works if you're a founder-led brand, or if you have a software, a SaaS business, it also works if it is a picture of you, just a picture of you, right? Okay, now for the product video. Here I love to do two things. One is, because I'm getting better, as you can hopefully tell, but I don't love being on video, especially those short forms where I have to talk quickly. They feel quite overwhelming. So I love to use Loom, which is a screen recording software, right? So this one here, and just hide in this little bubble and walk people through exactly what they get. I'm going to give you an example that was the winning ad to my paid Skool community when it was not on waitlist. And this here is just the video that I also had on the about page, right? So on Skool, you have this sales about page. And I just took this video and front loaded it into the ad, right? So of course, when we front load this video and our text on the about page to the ad, so we're almost outsourcing it to social media. When people come here, the likelihood of them converting is a lot higher because they, it's like what you get is what you see. And with that, we can validate it much quicker because we can see already from the ad stats how attractive our offer is. And then if that's validated, and then there's complete congruency between the ad and the actual landing page. And so with that, you'll see that as reflected in the conversions. And so for you, it's quicker to see, does it have a heartbeat or not? So you're basically just front loading it with pulling the video from your about page into the ad. Okay, so let me see. Here you can see what this looked like. It was a 5-minute video that I uploaded as the Facebook ad.
Right here, which is you. Now let's take a quick inventory of the courses and resources we have featured here in the classroom of the community. You have to start here, which is your onboarding process. So this is the first thing that you want to work through.
And you can see this is not me hardcore selling you something. This is me explaining what's inside. This is me showing you what you get, right? So again, like what you get is what you see. I also do this for my mini offers, the things that lead into my memberships and into my coaching. So for example, here we have this School of Will. It's a self-liquidating offer, mini course around willpower that has like a process, how it guides you through, so you don't have to watch the full course. But basically, I just want to show you what this looks like. Okay, so
Welcome to the School of Will. I want to start by telling you that I actually don't believe that willpower exists. At least not how most people perceive it. People will say that somebody either has a lot of willpower or they don't have willpower, or they have very little willpower, and they describe it like a character trait, right? It's something we have or don't have. It's almost like we're born with it. Well, I don't believe in that at all. What I know to be true is that willpower...
Okay, so I just quickly explained the premise of what it is, and then I walk them through how this works, right? So where they can find the different things in here, where to start. So it's basically a walkthrough, and I actually took this from the actual classroom where I walk my students that are already in there and have access to it. This is this video that I just front loaded into the ad, right? Because if that's not selling people on wanting it, the offer is not good enough, right? I don't have a heartbeat there, so it's not worth it for me to further invest in ads. So it's kind of a really, I even make it a bit challenging for the ad to work, right? Because this is for sure not a best practice to have your 5-minute Loom as your ad, but this converted really, really well, right? And so I know I'm onto something. I have a winning offer here that I can now invest a lot more time and effort and budget into optimizing in efficiency and improving the funnel economics. Okay, so these are the Loom video type of these two product type videos. And then I also have a little bit more traditional, well-edited types of videos that explain what the product is, right? And so this is for me the same category. It's just like not you on Loom doing the minimum. It's you recording yourself, actually thinking it through a little bit more than just shooting it from the hip, and you have it edited in a sense of there's captions on there and there's overlays. So let's see this ad that I'm running as being a UGC creator for Skool, right? I'm also running their ads, but this one is one where I also come up in the ad. So I want to show you this one.
I'm Evelyn. I have multiple Skool communities. My largest one is making $50,000 a month. And the reason why I love Skool so much is because it's simple. I can run my business basically alone, and at the same time I'm not alone at all. I'm part of a community of 50,000 community builders that are super fun, inspiring, kind and generous with their knowledge, and we're doing this building together. And I only learn what it means to be part of a community when I joined Skool, and I realized that sharing a passion makes everything so much better. If you have something that you love or that you're an expert in, I believe you should make a Skool about it, and now it's easier than ever. All you have to do is click the link below, sign up for a 14-day free trial, jump on a $9 hobby plan. It gets you access to the Skoolers community with the other community builders, and from there you learn how this whole thing works, and you can start building your own Skool. Click the link and join us now.
So you can see I just introduced myself as in like, who are you? Then I gave a little bit of proof. It's like, why is it worth listening to me? And then I explained what the product is. So, and for my opinion, it is a really simple way to run your business. It's a software platform that allows you to do this. And other part of the product for me that I personally really value is the community, right? And so you get both. And if you are somebody who is interested in that, then I recommend you check it out. Here's how it works. You click on signing up, you choose the hobby plan, then you get into the community, then you can watch the course here, and then you can get started, right? So it's me explaining what you get. It's not a fancy angle or anything. It's just explaining properly what they get with a CTA at the end. So this has a little bit more structure, but it's also because we have more resources there, right? To have things edited, etc. Now, this is what I've done for my physical products, right? And so I'm going to show you how these two kind of can relate to each other as well. So I had this product picture that actually was outperforming the video that I'm now just showing you. So don't think that you always have to make a video, especially the first ads to validate. I think this is the quickest thing you can do, right? And if there's no sign of life here, it's questionable. Do you even need to do video? And then if you do video, maybe you can just do a Loom, right? So if you're like, maybe it was my image, it wasn't like, maybe it needs more explanation or whatnot, then do a Loom before you do any fancy editing or scripting or whatnot. Unless you're already good with that, then start with that. Okay, so rule of thumb. You hate video. You feel like, oh, I suck at video, which is basically me, and you're like, I really don't want to do it. Start with image, right? And then if image gives you no sign of life, but you're like, I really believe that my offer is good, I can't accept here, then I'd say, okay, do a Loom. And then if the Loom is also a fall flat, I'm like, okay, we should work on the offer before you put more money into ads for testing. But if you're already great at video, right, because you're a content creator and you're actually saying, oh, for me, dev is fiddling around in Canva and this feels like it would negatively affect my brand, then, which by the way, I don't believe it does. And some of our best ads over the years and also right now are raw ads. People crave realness, people crave relatability, right? So often UGC content, for example, doesn't work if it gets too polished. So just a little mindset shift, and to keep that in mind, a high quality ad is not always, most of the time, not highly polished, okay? So here you can see what I did for the product as well. Again, you'll see how it is very much what you get is what you see.
Hey, welcome and thank you so much for checking out my official resale community for my first ever physical products. Can you believe it? I am so proud of these. And yeah, I'm gonna keep this really simple because it actually is. So I created 2 physical products based on
see me just explaining what this is. And then I just will basically really show, here's what's inside. Fiddling through the pages. Here's a nice page I love. Showing. My main focus is just to show people what the offer is, as simple, as clear, as plain as possible, because the main goal is to validate the offer. Okay, so now what about the copy? Super simple, right? So I don't want you to get all persuasive on me. I want you to have a hook that shows the need for your offer, right? So this is for community specifically, but this is the formula I use for every single offer. A hook that shows the need. An introduction in some way that explains your relevant background. I always love, especially if you're a founder-led brand or if you're a personal brand, I want to prime people on knowing you and the relevant things that we want them to know about you from your ad. So just like I introduced myself in this video, right? If you paid attention to it, I said, this is my background. Here's how I grow my business. I've helped clients with so small budgets and so big budgets. These are the things that I want you to know about me. And I'm saying them in the intro, yes, to hopefully have you listening through the video. But even if you end it after there, I'm already happy because you have relevant information about who I am. And the same is, I see this with the ad, right? So every ad educates people who you are. Every ad can build your brand if you include it there, and you elevate the product. You lend credibility and desirability to the product if you share your relevant background truthfully and in a way that it doesn't imply any specific results for others, right? So it's like, this is who I am as the creator. This does not mean you're gonna do that, but it's like, hey, this is who I am and what qualifies me to create this event. I created X offer, community, membership, mini offer, this themed call, etc. for your audience that wants outcome, is interested in, right? So calling out your audience. Inside you'll get, and this is again this idea of what you get is what you see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's exactly what you get, and think that through, right? So what is it exactly that they get? You can join here for this price, link, and then a final call to action below the link, because the link otherwise often gets swallowed by Facebook. This is all of the copy. Okay, and if you can do this, a simple product image and a simple product video plus this copy, and you choose the right campaign objective, this will work every single time in the sense that it will let you know you have a heartbeat. It's an offer that is worth investing time and energy and testing budget. You know the testing budget now, it's 2 to 3 times what your offer costs, or 2 to 3 times, actually 2 times your desired cost per acquisition per day for 48 hours to find out. That's not a large budget if you think, right? But moving forward, if it has a heartbeat, that's the budget you keep testing with. And the bigger thing is like, do you invest the focus and time and effort into this offer because the ad worked in a sense that it said it has a heartbeat, or do you not because the ad worked in a sense that it said to you, patient is dead. This is a dead end, right? And you will not see success towards cold traffic with this at all, because you can't even get success in the purest form. So you would have to sugarcoat it and enhance it in a way that might, go over boundaries, or make it something that is not, that to even get to a heartbeat, and then you probably can't scale it like really well. So don't even do that. Go back and do the offer work. All right, so this is what works every single time. This is the first thing I do for myself, first thing I do for my students. Now, one more thing that I want to show you is that a great way that when you have a heartbeat to quickly increase your sales is when you have a heartbeat, typically those two formats work, together. So when you found, for example, something that works, and I'm going to walk you through with a recent example. I did a video about this experiment that I did. So I did a real life experiment and started a completely new membership from scratch to prove it's not luck. So I was not allowed to tap into my existing audience, had to create a new Facebook profile, new Instagram page, new Facebook pixel, and start basically with zero audience, and then get a new offer, new business venture off the ground. And so this is what I've broken down for you in this video. And I've since renamed the community because I wanted to be more focused on role model. We still use AI a lot, but I didn't want it to make it just too AI focused. And here you can see where this experiment is right now. So really, really beautiful. Now I started this by validating the offer. How did I do this? I built the minimum viable thing out, which is basically just sign up for the free trial for Skool, put an about page banner up, put a short, when you add it up, it's about 2 hours of a short foundational course in there, made a welcome post, made classrooms with tools I plan to add, and calls I plan to add, workshops I plan to add in there. And then I started to run the ads. I was actually building this live in front of people for 9 hours, and then set the ad live. And so the first ad was a sales campaign, optimizing for complete registration. That's the right campaign objective, right optimization event for this. And so with the product image of this free community that I just built, I validated, is there even demand? I got a really good cost per group sign up of €1.39, I think, on average. So I was like, oh wow, I'm onto something. So if you have a Skool community, for example, a benchmark is if you're getting below $2.50 for the free group member, you really have something that's in demand that people want, and you could potentially think to turn this into a paid community, okay? So once I had the first 500 members, I kept developing this minimum viable product into something that I felt good charging $7 for. We had enough engagement. I turned off this ad and I slightly modified it, and now I was celebrating that we were 500 members, and I relaunched it with a price, right? And so that ad also converted profitably immediately. Why? Well, it was kind of validated, right? What if I would have had a high cost here, right? Which is also like no heartbeat. If I'm having a $10 cost per group member here, I'm like, wow, I need to reposition this, right? So I can basically reduce my risk through that. Okay, so basically same ad, just small tweaks, giving myself a little social proof, adding the price, making it a little bit more scroll stopping through these here, and then it was working really well. So what did I do next? After this, I turned it into a video, right? Because I was seeing, okay, I can get so much daily spend out from this profitably. Now, of course, I need to test new ads, and this is the video ad that worked best here for me, which is basically sharing the same idea, what you get on video. So let me show you this.
In a world where everyone uses ChatGPT to think less, I started something very different. I help over 650 people to use ChatGPT to think better, to develop and acquire the skills that they need to become the best version of themselves in record time. One small exercise and one smart prompt at a time. If you're curious about this work and you want to join us, click the link below and learn more.
So you see, also explaining, here's what you get. Showing the thing, showing what's inside, right? Showing even more of what's inside. Coming up. There you go. More of what's inside. More of what's inside, right? So same concept, just rolled it out into video. And now from here, I went into more variety, more angle testing, etc., to see how much efficiency, how much scale can I get out of it. So this is the flow, right? And so for example, for this, another way to get more efficiency out of that was to, within here, add separate offers into the community and then advertise those separate offers in the same way. Product image, right? So I added basically this product as a course in the membership, and I try to do this as much as possible with my recurring offers. It's like, how can I productize as much as possible so I can keep doing this, right? And I can stack also from different angles, not in me now going, into just keep testing, but also saying, okay, I have to create content for this thing anyway. I have to improve the product anyway. How can I improve the product in a way that I can repeat this process? Why? Because this process is so reliable, right? And one thing that I really don't like is tapping in the dark, right? And so while I keep making iterations here and find more winners, I also love that I have this very reliable way of seeing where I need to go with things, right? And because I'm creating things anyways, it does not take me a lot of extra time to conceptualize them as a standalone thing as well. And when I have a standalone thing as well, it also gives me an asset that I can later leverage in a way that I say, oh, when Skool rolls out subscription courses, for new members, these might not be included per default. These might be in a higher tier subscription, right? Or I'm using them to later on run a live cohort program with it. Or I use it as a limited time bonus, right? So there's a lot of things that I can then play in my promotion because I went down this route. And I validate the same way. Product image, and if it works, video. And here I didn't have, hotel and editing. So I just, again, went with the Loom. And this actually generated more purchases than this, right? So it's quality creative is not what you think, okay? Or at least not always what you think. All right, so I hope that this helped you understand how I think about this and how this will work every time, as in what you're working with and you have a path as into what adds first and a roadmap as in what adds next. I'd recommend actually checking this one out after if you have something to do with Skool or community building or memberships at all. Thank you and bye for now.